Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV with me, Sylvia Zulu. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. The Patriotic Front doubts government stance on cholera. Government should free communal water to mitigate cholera. A controversial Lusaka clergyman will appear in court for rape charges. In international news, the South African government to reopen inquiry into APARTHEID. And in sports news, government urged to rehabilitate Hero Stadium, which has become a cholera center. Do join me with the details shortly. Stay tuned.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now the news in detail. Evangelist John Nundwe, also known as John General, is scheduled to make a potential plea on a rape charge at the Lusaka Magistrate Court on January 11, 2024. The 51-year-old bishop appeared in court on Monday, but was instructed to return on Thursday as his case file was not yet presented. The Lusaka bishop was arrested by the police last year on charges of rape. Miriam Kaimba reports.
Owner of Miracle Impact Ministries International Church in Matero Township, commonly known as John General, appeared before the Lusaka Magistrate Court this morning, Monday, the 8th of January 2024. The religious leader attempted to shield himself from cameras as he left the court premise shortly after he was instructed to return on Thursday, as his case file was not yet presented. This Lusaka bishop was arrested by the police last year on charges of rape, according to a statement issued by the police. On November 22, 2023, he visited the victim's house after she sought prayers to prevent miscarriages. It is alleged that on the material day around 9 hours, the bishop informed the victim that he was going to a place to conduct the same prayers. It is further alleged that upon his arrival at 13 hours, he requested to check all the rooms as part of the prayers. According to the police statement, it is further alleged that when he reached the bedroom, he raped the victim and threatened to shoot her if she refused. The bishop allegedly ran after realizing that the victim's husband had returned home. He is expected to appear on the 11th of January 2024 for his allocation and possible plea. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriotic Front Faction Vice President Given Lubinda has expressed displeasure with the treatment and conditions of cholera patients in Zambia. Speaking after his court appearance, Mr. Lubinda claimed that certain deaths are wrongly labeled as cholera-related. He criticized President Hakainde Hichilema for prioritizing a holiday on his farm over addressing the cholera situation.
Opposition Patriotic Front Faction Vice President Given Lubinda of the Edgar Lungu faction has expressed concern over the handling of the cholera situation in the country. Mr. Luwinda claims that many individuals have lost their lives to cholera, and he is displeased with the conditions in which citizens suffering from the disease are being kept. He claims to have received reports of individuals whose deaths were not cholera-related but were classified as cholera deaths.
I'm dismayed at the condition under which our people are being kept. I've also been informed about some people whose deaths are not cholera-related but are being classified as cholera. Today itself, somebody close to me was being buried at 7 hours when this person was a patient of prostate cancer, and when was given medicine in one hospital, he developed nausea and he had diarrhea. When he went to the hospital to go and complain about the effect of the new drug, they took him to the cholera center. He was diabetic, he was denied it until eventually he passed on.
Mr. Luwinda has criticized President Hakainde Hichilema for prioritizing a holiday on his farm over addressing the cholera situation. He charges that President's focus should be on resolving the cholera crisis rather than fixing individuals.
Instead of him going to places to go and clean like his predecessor used to do, he is sending soldiers, belatedly for that matter, and while he himself is enjoying New Year holiday at his farm. This is the worst kind of incompetence by any president. There is no way that a president can be celebrating New Year holiday when citizens are dying because of lack of medicine, because of insufficient number of doctors. There is no way that can happen. That people are dying because of a waterborne disease. The last time we had cholera in Zambia was in 2018. We managed to stop cholera from 2018 until now, 2023-24. For 6 years, Lusaka has not recorded any cholera. Mr. Fix-It comes on the scene and cholera also comes. What is he fixing?
Earlier, Mr. Luwinda appeared before Magistrate Kawamama Foley, where he pleaded not guilty to a charge of failing to surrender a diplomatic passport and holding more than one passport. His trial will commence on the 22nd of February 2024. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Mike Mposha, has directed the Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company to stop charging people who are accessing water through communal kiosks in cholera-stricken compounds. Speaking when he toured water infrastructure in Lusaka's Kanyama compound, Mr. Mposha stated that this is given the cholera outbreak, further stating that his ministry will pay the cost throughout the cholera period. The Munali lawmaker has further called on the water utility company to work on the pipe leakages around the city, as they may be the source of water contamination. Meanwhile, Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company Managing Director Jili Chiyombwe says the utility company will thrive to improve water supply amid the cholera outbreak. We have the details in the following report.
Cholera, also known as the disease of the poor, for affecting people with inadequate access to safe water and basic sanitation, is an acute diarrheal disease that can kill within hours if left untreated. Zambia has experienced cholera since 1977, with Lusaka being one of the hotspots of cholera in the country. This has been attributed mainly to indiscriminate disposal of waste, poor drainage systems, and erratic water supply. Monday, January 8, 2024, Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Mike Mposha, visited one of the cholera-stricken compounds, Kanyama, to appreciate water challenges in the area. Here, one of the affected residents, Dokas Chikumbi, explained the challenges they are facing.
Because machani atu mayadi atu stinga ndrama zatu futi gula ma unit. Because it's a 10 kwacha ma buckets yali 10. Kuri ben ndrama yili yose ama unit yaninga pezeki. Isepano intenzo gomi na kukazi ma kiosi. That So, but the program, but you know, my units. Mining has done my units on the because even to be my buckets, very good.
This prompted the minister to direct the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company to supply free water in the cholera-stricken compounds like Kanyamam.
This is a very expensive undertaking to provide water through the water bowsers. It's extremely expensive, but we have to do it so that we control the cholera epidemic. But in addition to accessing clean water, they must also ensure that the storage facilities, the containers where they are storing the water, are well taken care of.
Mr. Mposha also directed the water utility company to work on the pipe leakages around the city, as they may be the source for water contamination.
It's important that one, the repairs there should be done urgently to assist in reducing the loss of water, but also to avoid contamination, because where there's a leakage, when we have a shutdown, contamination or wastewater will end up going into our network. By the time you are switching on supply, the water, the contamination is pushed to the consumer. So let's go around and ensure that not only in Mtendere but throughout. Let's check our network. I know it's quite old and dilapidated.
Meanwhile, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company Managing Director Chiombwe Jiri highlighted some of the projects that the utility company is implementing to improve water supply in the city, among them installing water tanks in targeted compounds.
We have another borehole that we are drilling behind the site. So this wall fence is going to go down so that everything is in one compound. Because we have a line feeding the tank from the other side. This tank is a 350 cubic meter tank. So what happens is that the borehole feeds into the tank and then we gravitate from the tank going into the network. Like I said, that way, even when power goes, at least we can supply for some hours before we completely run out of water. So we've done this one. There's another tank that we are yet to do. So making 2 tanks within Kanyama area. But there's more that needs to be done.
Even though addressing water challenges may be one solution to the cholera outbreak, there is also need for mindset change, especially towards waste management and personal hygiene. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Mulambo Haimbe has implored citizens to uphold good sanitation and hygiene to avoid contracting cholera. Speaking when he donated 500 bottles of chlorine at Katambala Market in Balmi compound of Lusaka Central constituency, the lawmaker underscored his commitment to complement the fight against cholera. The parliamentarian, who is also the Minister of Justice, also commissioned the gravel road, which he said will soon be paved.
Cholera is a bacterial disease usually spread through contaminated water. Cholera causes severe diarrhea and dehydration. At a time when people thought cholera is only part of Zambia's history, the deadly pandemic is back, causing a devastating trail in several communities of Lusaka. About 1,059 people are currently in admission, and since October 2023, the country has recorded 222 deaths due to cholera. Many interventions have been put in place to combat the waterborne disease, and Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Mulambo Haimbe has implored citizens to uphold good sanitation and hygiene to avoid contracting cholera. Speaking when he donated 500 bottles of chlorine at Katambalala Market, the lawmaker underscored commitment to complement the fight against the deadly disease.
Especially Palopa Market Tigulisa, we have to make sure that we are selling our goods in hygienic conditions in a way that will not cause disease to spread. Please change Veranai. Taverana? Okay, so chlorine ameleta kule terani. Simutitotera na waministi wazee kwa toteleni. So that we protect our lives. This is summary to make sure that we and our families are safe. Their message number one.
The Member of Parliament, who is the country's Minister of Justice, also commissioned the gravel road, which he said will soon be paved in order to create a conducive trading environment.
What used to happen every time it rains, there would be stagnant water and people from all over Lusaka, including those from within Bauleni, could not trade at this market properly. Business was suffering as a result. So I did make a promise 2 weeks ago. We launched the initiative to do the entire road network within the market and part of the trading area. As we speak today, the road has been done and it looks very nice. If you just look down here. So, in other words, today we are launching proudly, together with our community members from this community, together with the traders from Bauleni Market, the rehabilitated road. This is phase 1 of the works that we intend to do here at Katambalala Market. Following this work that has been done, we will now undertake a paving exercise as soon as resources are found, so that we don't leave it only at gravel.
And the people of Bauleni have expressed gratitude for the development interventions initiated by the lawmaker.
That's why in the family yanga nimakutashani usiku na mzuu hapa pemene mmachita waona lipo because the market yanga maezi ya mbili tikaribu ona hapo chamene mwachita bakatambalala meaning kwenzeni ma MPs bambili bamese banashitia mene mwachita
tandizo kuli kuti mutitandizire unani mamene vantu benzo mkammatika but manje apa bankala bwino chikukonesa kuti kuli muntu amene atisamalira amene atisunga.
PATRIOTIC, Camnet News.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Kombo, says they will be announcing measures to combat cholera, such as closing down businesses associated with the pandemic. He notes that some people who are being discharged are being readmitted for cholera, indicating the problem is various in various localities. Speaking when he visited the National Hero Stadium, the designated cholera center, Mr. Nkombo says the cholera situation is being contained.
It's safe to say that the situation looks contained, and the staff here are doing everything possible to save the lives of the patients that are being brought in here. And I must say they're doing a commendable job. And the detail of what's going on in there, as I said, will only be transmitted by the line minister of health. Our job now is really to go back to the community as local government to heighten the sensitization of how people must change their style of living in order to circumvent further transmission of this cholera pandemic. And maybe using this platform is to say that from our end, we will be communicating the measures that we are going to take in public places to strengthen the position of arresting the spread of the cholera. And this may mean having to temporarily close certain activities that we suspect may lead to the exacerbation of the cholera epidemic. And that will be communicated after we sit down with the line ministry and see how we can best get around it. It is also important to state that what we found here is that there has also been recurrences of people who are discharged and they come back, which means that back home, where the source is, there is a problem.
United Party for National Development, UPND member Vene Hachombwa has joined other stakeholders in calling on President Hakainde Hichilema to defense forces to combat cholera. Mr. Hachombwa notes that the current cholera outbreak is slowly getting out of hand, hence the need to summon men and women in uniform to curtail the spread. He was speaking during a press briefing Monday afternoon in Lusaka.
The Commander-in-Chief let our men and women in uniform go to the streets and ensure that those soccer walls are closed in our compounds, because this will come at a good time. Why? Because they are a source of cholera. So as the president is coming back today, we want the president to quickly enforce ZNS and the army on the streets, because we may be a bit negligent on it, but for a Zambian mind, the moment we see a man and a woman in uniform, we take some precautions. This is to arrest the situation in the country as it is now.
The government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, has come to the aid of the over 30 families that were left homeless in Chimbwe area of Lupososhi district. Unit Chairperson Simon Mwenya, who was flanked by other officials, including District Coordinator Levitka Skabwe, visited the most vulnerable families where they distributed tents. Among those mostly affected, 6 families were given tents.
Over 30 families that were left homeless in Chimbwe area of Lupososhi district in Northern Province have received help from government in form of tents under the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU. In November 2023, a hailstorm left trail of destruction with over 30 families left homeless. One of the beneficiaries, Elias Kapika, has thanked government for the gesture. The beneficiaries have, however, appealed to government to consider helping them with food items, among other necessities. Meanwhile, DMMU District Chairperson Simon Mwenya, who is also Lupososhi District Commissioner, says government is looking into the matter to see how best it can help other remaining families in the area.
My encouragement more especially to the beneficiaries, those who have managed to receive these tents, I'm encouraging them to use this tent prudently, because we haven't given them, because at the end of the rainy season we'll come and take them, that we can go and safeguard them in the, at the provincial level. And also to the people who haven't received, I'm just also encouraging them to be patient. We are also looking into it. As you know, we can't do it at once.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula.
Chasefu Member of Parliament Meshach Nyambose is elated with the pace at which CDF projects are progressing in Chasefu district of Eastern Province. Mr. Nyambose, who recently conducted a tour of his constituency to appreciate the implementation of CDF projects, says the district is undergoing a massive transformation. Mr. Nyambose observes that Zambia is blessed to have a government that looks at all citizens equally and has since encouraged President Hakainde Hichilema not to relent in developing the country. Details in the following report.
Chasefu Member of Parliament Meshach Nyambose is elated with the pace at which CDF projects are currently moving in Chasefu district of Eastern Province. Mr. Nyambose, who recently conducted a tour of his constituency to appreciate the implementation of CDF projects, says the coming of the New Dawn government has uplifted the lives of the people not only in Chasefu district but the country as a whole.
It's masterpiece. And you look at what was there. Had the people of Zambia not brought this government and the president Teche, we're not going to have this. This is deep in Chasefu. We are not in Musa, we are not in Kichkeni, but we are in Kajirime at Muswazi. So if the people here, The way they are happy to see this happening for the first time, they're excited. This is the government that we wanted. For me, I always say that this country is blessed. It's a blessed country because we are having a government that is looking at Zambians equally. So we want to encourage the president and the new dawn to continue because he is uplifting the lives of the people.
Mr. Nyambose discloses that Chasefu district is moving at a significant pace to change its status, all thanks to the continued increment of the CDF allocation, whose management by Chasefu Town Council is effective. He has since called on all stakeholders in the district to be more united in order to serve the community of Chasefu district better. Among the CDF projects that the area member of parliament toured include a completed 1x3 classroom block at Chafeta Magodi Primary School and the staff house, which is at roof level in Kapilisanga Ward, a 1x2 classroom block at Chidolo Primary School in Luwerezi Ward, a completed 1x3 classroom block at Muswazi Community School in Kajilime Ward, and Chasefu District Commissioner Jimmy Piri is optimistic that Chasefu District is on the path of positive transformation in the wake of the increased CDF allocation, as the district is now having the much-needed infrastructure development.
What we've seen, it's impressive and it's encouraging, especially that most of the people that are doing all these jobs are local contractors. They may have one or two issues here and there, maybe on the finishing part, but on overall, I think the works are going on well, and it gives us hope that Chasefu will change, especially that the structures that we used to have, they are no longer good and that can be used as at now. So I think we are so happy to present Mr. Kende Chilema, I think, for increasing CDF. Of course, CDF is a game changer.
Cherish Sivote for Camnet News.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take a first set of commercials. I will be back with more stories after the break. Stay tuned.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll now continue with more news. The Zambia Land Alliance has called for thorough documentation of customary land by the government to curb the illegal allocation of land by traditional leaders. Alliance Executive Director Patrick Musole says documenting customary land will make it difficult for traditional leaders to give land to foreign investors at the expense of poor citizens. Mr. Musole has since advised traditional leaders in the country to strive to protect the country's customary land.
Land Alliance will advocate for preservation of customary land. We want customary land and state land to coexist, to exist side by side, because we believe that there are people that may not acquire, that may not afford to acquire state land because of the costs that are associated with the state land. And so those people should be allowed to stay freely and securely on customary land. The challenge that we see here, because customary land is currently not documented, people that live on customary land live at risk. They live on the edge of their seats. Like any moment, someone will come and push them out, including their own chiefs, which is most unfortunate, as opposed to the interest of their people. These chiefs that are pushing away their own people. And I think that's unacceptable. We would like to call upon our Royal Highnesses to protect the interests of their people. So, because of that dispute, one, by foreign investors, two, by chiefs themselves, people want to convert it and have a title because they know that when their land is registered and have a title, they feel secure. And so we can't blame people who want to customary land to state land.
The public protector, Caroline Sokoni, says designation of a resident judge in Muchinga province is a milestone that will contribute a fair and dispute resolution by a competent, independent and impartial court. Speaking when she officiated at this year's ceremonial opening of the High Court Criminal Session in Chinsali, Sokoni noted that the move will contribute to safeguarding the interests and rights of individuals in accessing justice and further contribute to citizen trust and social peace in the area. For the first time since the opening of the High Court in the province in 2019, a resident judge has been appointed to be based in Chinsali. Mrs. Sokoni says this will increase the disposal rate of both criminal and civil cases to a desirable percentage to reduce the backlog of cases being carried forward in a particular year. The public protector has also congratulated Justice Willie Sinyangwe for being the first High Court resident judge for Chinsali. In other news, the Copperbelt province has recorded a full Amiwem presence in all 10 districts. Acting Provincial Agriculture Coordinator for Copperbelt province under the Ministry of Agriculture, Yapulani Chunga, has disclosed that 6,560 households, representing a total hectare of 16%, has been affected so far. Principal Agriculture Officer Julius Malipa says some interventions have been put in place to help contain the infestation rate.
Experienced again this year an outbreak of armyworm. Of our 225 agricultural camps, we have confirmed the armyworm attacks in 138 camps, more than half of our camps, and the infestation is progressing, so the outbreaks are still ongoing. This has affected some 6,560 farming households, and in terms of hectares, 1,971 hectares have been attacked, which gives us an infestation percentage of 15.6%. Now, when we say infestation and the hectares attacked, it's not that they are lost. It's not total loss, but that the crop is affected, and if not controlled, then we can have a total loss.
The destruction is getting more and more as days are going by, and we are telling farmers not always to expect the government to buy the chemicals, but them they can manage, because some chemicals as cheap as 45 kwacha per spray of a 16 liter, which are available. Then in fact, farmers when they buy, they can spray and eradicate the armyworms, because the armyworms have the capacity to increase in thousands within a week of infestation.
Still to come in the news, government aged to rehabilitate Hero Stadium, which has become a cholera center. Do join me with the details after the break.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. And now for the rest of the news. In foreign news, protesters in Goma took to the streets on Sunday, responding to the opposition's call for mobilization against the results of the Democratic Republic of Congo's presidential election, which saw President Felix Tshisekedi re-elected with over 70% of the vote, according to the country's election commission. The preliminary results announced in Kinshasa forced opposition demands and civil society calls for a rerun due to significant logistical issues, casting doubt on the validity of the outcome. Tshisekedi's victory was followed by businessman Moise Katumbi with 18% and Martin Fayula with 5%. Nobel Peace Prize winner Denis Mukwege, known for threatening victims of sexual violence, received less than 1%. With a turnout of more than 40%, the election saw 18 million people casting their votes. The results are now slated for confirmation by the Constitutional Court, as stated by Election Chief Dennis Kadima. Here's a roundup of international news.
South Africa will reopen an inquiry into the murder of 4 anti-apartheid activists, which became one of the era's most notorious crimes but remains unsolved nearly 4 decades on. Justice Minister Ronald Lamola said in a statement dated January 5 that it was in the interest of justice to finally bring closure to the families of the deceased who have been waiting decades for the truth about who killed their loved ones. Lamola said the move was needed for confidence in South Africa's justice system to be restored. 2 inquests were held in 1987 and 1993, but produced more questions than answers. The so-called Cradock 4 were abducted and murdered while returning home to the southern town of Cradock in June 1985. arrived after a meeting. The bodies of the 4 were discovered days later, badly burnt with multiple stab wounds. The security forces under the apartheid regime were suspected of being behind the killings. No one has been brought to justice. The results of a judicial inquiry into the Derna disaster in Libya showed that the dam that gave way last September were fragile. Libya's Attorney General Al-Sadiq Al-Sur on Sunday said at least 25 experts were unanimous in their assessment that negligence led to the disaster. The result published last week added that the disaster could have been avoided if the recommendations made since 2003 to maintain these dams and build a third had been applied. Massive flooding devastated much of the northeastern Libyan city on September 10 and 11, leaving 4,540 people dead. Water washed away neighborhoods and damaged critical sewage and water infrastructure that has yet to be repaired. More than 30,000 people were displaced in Derna and nearly 1 million people were affected by the floods, according to the UN's International Organization for Migration, IOM.
Yet another crime was committed by the Israeli occupation forces at the Al-Maghazi refugee camp. A United Nations Relief and Works Agency school at the Al-Maghazi camp was bombed, even though this is one of the safe areas where residents of the Gaza Strip sought refuge. The school was bombed, leaving dozens of civilians martyred and dozens injured. These are the crimes committed by the Israeli occupation forces against unarmed civilians in the Gaza Strip and the Al-Maghazi camp. The camp has been surrounded for the past several days by tanks of the Israeli occupation forces. The wounded are lying on the ground waiting for death due to the lack of health centers and emergency medical services inside the besieged camp. This is a serious crime at the Al-Maghazi camp, where refugees were targeted inside an UNRWA school. The school is supposed to be safe for civilians. It is recognized by UNRWA, an international organization, and it houses nearly 5,000 civilians.
In sports, some Lusaka residents have urged government to quickly rehabilitate the National Hero Stadium so that it can start hosting matches. One of the residents spoken to by Camnet TV in Sofwa says the facility should not only be used for church functions and in times of disease outbreak. In May last year, the National Hero Stadium was declared unfit to host international matches by the Confederation of African Football, CAF.
In May last year, the National Hero Stadium was declared unfit to host international matches by the Confederation of African Football, CAF. Since then, the facility has been a venue for church functions, entertainment, and not too long ago, government turned it to a cholera treatment center owing to the increased number of cases recorded in recent weeks. Some Lusaka residents have welcomed this, saying keeping patients in health facilities puts at risk other patients.
Decision government ya pasira kuti ipeleke vantu kolera kuja vakolera wankale ku Heroes ilichabe bwino inkamunga ni kolera center because ma hospitals muli vantu vosiyana kuma accident vena kwatola vinango palasi ngangala tivena mangena matenda yosiyana so kuja inkalemonga ni mwamene inkale kolera center of which lili bwino yakwati ni pakati kulibe vantu ani bali pafupi vangakhala affected so iyo yeve na ikonda maningi lekani wakaziwa pereka kuja wamakolera kuja inkale bwino maningi yorona ndatesha maningi koze matenda yametipezeka muno ni ambiri maningi.
Press yakaena ya Heroes ilifye bwino due to press ikuru and then netwabika abarwere bakolera ku ma hospitals. It will be a problem to those people abari attend ama patients whereby they might contract same disease called cholera and then abana inkane ama patients muntu ndari immune system ndari weak. It's very much easy for those patients to also to contract the same disease, so it's very much applicable and very much advisable whereby we use the big press whereby abantu bonse baraba kwete urwere burya Now, it's a secret place where they have been attended.
For others, all they want is the facility to be rehabilitated so that it can be hosting football.
But we are also appealing to the government that as they are working on it, why won't you cholera center heroes? But won't you another way of renovating that stadium? Whereby for soccer fans for LUSAKA. Twetambira kubora mu heroes, not your story abonse kundola kuisa kindly try to assist us in terms of renovating that stadium so that each twafurishe kubonse, especially for my UFC twekwata kutuma exercisation
tulelomba konga ama residents bamuno mu LUSAKA twafurishe nko ida heroes stadium bayiwami batepe renovate nga bayiwamya yala tupela ko bunonji panto ama games ayenge akola chitika yakola samulamu kuchalonse ni kundola ichala shala lomba chala bichako angalia muchira nabaiki bo baletrira chapange sense aho ero bapangile ila iro stadium bali chimwene obunonji kuli capital city ya LUSAKA cause muri abantu abengi sana ntakuti kwa ama games indama makundola nishima muno mu LUSAKA shirapu sana ngakole ama games iro stadium ile nchendera machine muno population muri abantu abengi then kukoba beoti ela tulekana kuti kwa bata ilingire yabati bayipairira fe heroes ela ipose kwa mano statement.
According to the list reviewed by CAF last year, Zambia's biggest stadium is not among those that were listed fit to host international matches recognized by FIFA and CAF. This is to mean that Ndola's Levi Mwanawasa Stadium is the only Zambia's international football arena. Efforts to get a comment on the progress made in plans to rehabilitate the facility from Minister of Sports, Youth and Arts, Elvis Nkandu, were unsuccessful as his phone went unanswered. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, LUSAKA.
And finally, in sports, Choma Warriors Women's Football Club has continued its unbeaten run with a 3-0 win against the football chants of LUSAKA Sunday afternoon. Club President Trevor Mwinde has since hailed the team's good performance, stating that the club is a shining example of Southern Province. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Mwinde has urged other stakeholders to take keen interest in sponsoring football, as it is a lucrative sport which can be a source of income for many.
I want to call upon family members, friends, far and near, that football, it is indeed a business that which we need to put in our efforts. It will do no harm to our family and our society. It is a self-sustaining business. It is in that regard that we want to believe that our football can be a wealth creator in most of our family environments and our communities. Football, just like many other sports, it has also become its own economy. It also controls a certain stake when it comes to global affairs. So I want to believe that those of us that are wearing many hats, one for politics and one for football, primarily would venture into human development, which is soccer. This affair we will not be able to give up easily, and we want to urge most of these teams, especially girls football clubs. We will be going out into even northwestern province, particularly Manyinga district, to look for talent.
That's it for our news tonight. Before I go, here's a recap of the stories making headlines. The Patriotic Front doubts government to provide free communal water to mitigate cholera. A controversial LUSAKA clergyman to appear in court for rape charges. In international news, the South African government to reopen inquiry of apartheid. And in sports news, government urged to rehabilitate stadium, which has become a cholera center. Our verse of the day is coming from the book of Philippians 4, verse 6 to 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night and God bless you.